This is More Than Construction, a Journey Group podcast about building community. Hello, and welcome back to More Than Construction. I'm your host, Nathan Walter, along with my co-host, Darin Hage. And today we are kicking off a sequence of episodes highlighting each of our divisions. We'll learn a little more about the history, the mission, and some of the distinctives of each division. And today we're highlighting Journey Construction, our vertical construction division. And we're joined by Darin Hage, Vice President of Journey Construction, and Tony Wiseman, the Director of Project Development for Journey Construction. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
So, Darin, you've been with this company for coming up on 25 years. Started out right out of college, right? And now you're VP of Journey Construction. Can you give us your Journey story? How Journey brought you from a college grad to where you are today?
Yeah, no, it's I started in 97, right out of college. And at that point, we didn't have, I think we'd compare it right now to like a starting project engineer position. My first project was out in Winter, South Dakota with Darrell Quam, who was a legendary superintendent with Sioux Falls Construction, had been with the company many years. So that was great memories, great experience. I worked in the field in the superintendent capacity for about 5 to 6 years, and then had an opportunity to move into a project management role, kind of working in the Vera McKinnon campus projects with Gary Haskell and their crew there, and learned a lot from them as well. And kind of evolved into, Vera had a lot of new structure projects that were coming up. And my first large one on that I took on was the Beaver Health project, the first one. And so over those years, managed some of those types of projects. And in 2010, we started to do our succession planning at the same time that Randy started looking into his role, and Marlon evolved into more of the total operations. And so I had the opportunity to take on the role that I'm in now in 2010. And so now I get the opportunity to work with our teams pretty much at all levels, kind of working, making sure we've got what we need to keep things going on a daily basis. So it's a lot of fun, and I love it.
I'm sure over 25 years, I'm sure you've seen a lot of stuff happen on the job site.
Yeah, just a lot of fun stories that come from that.
You know, I have heard a few Darin Tony stories that I don't think we can talk about on here.
Tony, let's shift focus to your journey story. First of all, I think the first question I have to ask is, what's it like driving a Harley to work in the mornings?
Cold right now.
Yeah, cold.
You know, I'm a little bit of a risk taker, a little bit, and so it just gets you going. And but it's more about just intermixing work and play.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
So, do you still have your pilot's license?
I do.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It becomes a life event, you know, so it has to settle down. I had to start choosing on where I put my time.
Yep.
Harley and
Harley one.
Well, and family.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Well, so you drive a Harley to work, and then what happens? Tell us, how did you get to where you are today?
Sure. Yeah. I started in the similar time too. I started back in 1998, I believe it was. And I started as assistant superintendent at that time is what our roles were, and started working in the field with other superintendents at that time, and then moved into superintendent. I think the first project I was superintendent on that I truly led was the Department of Criminal Investigation building in Pierre, the DCI building. And so, speaking of some fun stories, there's some police stories over there that we can talk about. But then moved into project management. I think the last job that I was superintendent on just happened to be Sharapa Place 1.
Wow.
Which, you know, as we'll talk about, we're starting some other projects right now at Sharapa 15 years later. So, and then moved into project management, into senior project management, and now director of project development, which is focused around planning and strategic value to owners and clients during pre-construction, and then just getting projects up and running. So
that's cool to see. Both of you worked on like a Vera Behavioral. Now we're adding on to a Vera Behavioral with this huge new addition, and Sharapa 1, and now we've got lots of chirapas after. That's exciting.
5.
Yeah. Wow. Cool. So Darin, Tony, and Aaron, all three of you work within the Journey Construction division. Can you guys clarify what that means? What is Journey Construction as a division?
Yeah, we really started off as a general contractor, and over the years really focused on, we always have had a segment of our company that has done building work. So that's really what Journey Construction division has stemmed from, is the building work that we do, vertical buildings. We came up as general contractors and builders, and that's something for us that we've never wanted to lose. We never wanted to turn into a company that just manages projects. We're builders at heart. So things like carpentry, steel and precast erection, those types of things that we're very good at, we want to get those more specialized and grow them as well as our management. But from that, we've always had elements that now we continue to grow. And so we've created what we call special projects division. And that now is growing. We have a few PMs and soups, and Mark Lukanen is a senior PM. And we've always done renovation type work. It really started mainly at Bear McKinnon campus. Gary Haskell started there in 1982 and really hasn't left since, and has done projects with that team there. We're expanding outside of Avera into a lot of other different types of renovations. And
what's really nice about the special project division too is it allows us to really focus on that type of project with that particular owner. And a lot of owners, new owners to us as well, maybe come with smaller projects first, just to try us out and see how we do. So that really gives that team a chance to go in there and shine, and then a lot of times it leads to much bigger things, overall. So it's just great how we set that up within the division to handle the owner's needs.
I think that's one of the main things is we take on a lot of different types of projects, sizes, scopes, complexities, and there's a lot of things within Journey Construction, including the pre-con side of things that Tony was going to speak to us a little bit about.
Yeah, I think diversity is something that has always been there too. As Journey Group, as a company, we're very diverse, but within Journey Construction itself, we're also very diverse within inside of Journey Construction. Darin mentioned all the different types of projects that we have been able to be a part of over the years, between cathedrals and schools and hospital and higher education and office facilities, aquatic facilities, sports facilities. I mean, there's just a big gamut of projects. And so I didn't know what I didn't know when I started with Journey Construction. And one of the things that's consistent across the diversity is I believe there was a caring culture that we wanted to do what we wanted to do, whether it was a cathedral or it was a higher education facility or anything in between. There was passion for it. The ownership had passion. The project management had passion. The superintendents had passion. The carpenters, like Darin said, the builders had passion. And there was always a quality piece that went from across from one project to the other. And I think that's the consistent feeling that I've noticed over the last 20 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely there and evident in both the work we do, but also the working that we do. You go to a site and you talk with whoever's there and they're passionate about what they do. Like you can tell they enjoy the work that they're doing and take pride in it. And I think that stems from, like Darin said, builders at heart, but also the projects we get to work on have significance. In the last episode, we talked about what it means to build community and that these buildings that we're creating impact our community, whether it be a school or a hospital or a fire station or
there's a why behind
whatever.
it.
There's a why behind what we're doing as well. Yeah, and that's exciting. You mentioned pre-construction. I want to park there a little bit because I think that's something that's very unique about Journey and Journey Construction, especially getting back to the why behind why we do what we do, that passion for providing quality and yet value to our partners. I think the way we prepare for our projects is something that really sets us apart. So, Tony, can you describe for us a little bit about what goes into the process of pre-construction, how it helps basically everyone involved in the project?
This was supposed to be 15, 20 minutes. I think on the high level, the first step is just aligning their budget and scope. I mean, there's many phases that go into that, starting with, a grandiose, this is what we want to get, and then, here's our resources to do it with.
Yeah.
So aligning them two up early on is the first step. And then taking it through the process, working with the design team to get more efficient. Then once you have your scope lined up and your budget lined up, so we know what we can get for the construction dollars then it's more efficient and bringing cost analysis and value all the way through to keep adding to that value. So you're getting the most for your dollars all the way through.
Yeah.
Then once you, I guess, get there, there's the piece of bringing other trade partners aboard. So we're not only doing this internal and working with external, then you're bringing the trade partners aboard, subcontractors, vendors, suppliers, getting them up to speed on the project, getting all the administrative stuff along with them put in place, procurement process, and then you can hit the ground running.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one thing we don't want an owner to do is to walk into a building as we're constructing it and say, this is not what I expected, in a bad way. So that pre-construction side, just has evolved so much in our industry over the last half a dozen years with virtual reality, the models, so you're walking them really through that, and physically in the virtual reality case, so they can really gain that buy-in and really realizing what they're getting other than just viewing it on paper. So it just came so far in our industry.
Yeah, and I think pre-construction is a wide, broad term.
Yeah.
I think inherently construction in itself calls for planning and thinking through what you're going to do before you do it.
Yeah.
But really within Journey Construction, we take it a little bit further than that. There is a lot of planning and in all aspects of budgeting and schedule and team staffing and identifying the needs of the owners and expectations. And during pre-construction, we really focus on bringing value to, along with the planning and budgeting. Don't underestimate the planning and budgeting that goes into pre-construction, because we're bringing our field in too. They're getting started early on the project. And so their success ratio on projects are just, that much more higher percentage of success ratio. If they're part of the planning process, it's not a handoff. It's not a handoff from one step to the other. But then it's the bringing value. So every project is identified with some challenges and constraints. And, we believe that you can get the most value for the construction dollars you have to spend. And how do you do that is offering solutions, not just answers to questions, is part of our pre-construction process. I think, Darin, do you have any to add, or Aaron on that?
Yeah, I would say, one thing that I think our team really does better, it isn't in zones where we're really just kind of worried about our area or, covering ourselves, but something else might be going off the rails. We're leading at all levels. So that's, if there's a obstacle or issue that's not in our court and somebody else's, we're going to provide leadership and help get through that. And that's really, I just think of time and again projects that you look back at the life cycle of that project and where they could have really, gone in a different direction at times. And you just think about the people that we have and our culture that we have and the dedication and commitment they had to that project to get it through. And that's what it takes. And that I think just becomes a culture, that we have built. And it was something that we all grew up in that system in the leaders before us. And that's, I think, really the cool thing about our company is that it keeps, all of that passion and dedication. That was, you think back to your mentors, that were here that taught you that.
Yeah. Yeah. We call this podcast More Than Construction. And I think this is yet another way that we do more than construction. There's this idea of not just focusing on price gouging or, compromising value to meet bottom line or whatever, but we actually are putting in the work beforehand, before we've even started on this project to provide value, providing quality, safe, community impacting work in creative ways that stay under budget. Do you guys want to elaborate on that aspect of it? How does pre-construction within Journey Construction as a division provide more than construction?
When we say bringing value and more than construction, it's not just waiting for the detail. It's not just waiting for a design team to say, this is what we've designed, this is what we want to build. can you guys get this done for us? It's a little bit earlier than that. I think we touched on, well, okay, you're looking for this type of facility, but wouldn't it be great if this type of facility also could incorporate this for the same construction dollars? Well, how do I do that? Well, one way is where do you invest your dollars then? Because in each individual trade within this industry, you have multiple people coming together. You have structural, you have mechanical, electrical, you have architecture, and they each have their own spin. They each have their own desire of the mark they want to leave on the project. And so where that does is it puts us in a unique position to say, we get it. Yeah. So now where do you want to where is the intent of the project? Because we only have so much dollars and time and speed. Yep. All those things are going into it. So bringing the value is understanding that, and then communicating to the team, if we spend our construction dollars here on the structure, we're not left with enough to do what we want over here. And so that's where we're saying we bring more than just construction, more than just the build. And the thing that we get to fall back on, that I get to fall back on, is that we have such a great talent of builders and staff behind us that we can follow through with some of the things that we dream up. So that's the beautiful part. You can't do this without everybody being able to back it up. Because there's times where I go home and I think, okay, this is awesome idea. Can we actually do that? But that's the thing, is we have the horsepower on the backside to back it up. Yeah. So
I would add to that too, that when you say more than construction, it's more than a project. It's relationships for us that carry on past the project. And so for us, that means a lot of times making decisions that are bigger picture oriented about a relationship or about value versus an immediate, say, win or things like that comes from a project-based mindset. And so, that's very important to us. The relationships we have, obviously, with our internal team members, with the design team, with the owner, the subcontracting trade partners that we work with. For us, it's important that we all walk out of that project knowing that as a team, we work together and we got it, to exceed the customer's expectations. It's a life cycle of just continuing that with those same teams going forward on other projects.
What a perfect way to exemplify the mission and vision and values of this company. It's built into the fabric of what we do. So it's like what we were talking about at the beginning. The why behind the work that we do is very powerful. So I think that's really cool. All right. Coming to the end here, give me your top upcoming project that's coming down the pipeline.
Well, we're really fortunate to have the largest backlog that we've had in our company's history, and it just continues to come from our operation. The people actually doing the work, putting the projects in place. It just builds on itself. That quality and customers wanting us to do their next projects or getting referrals from design partners or outside people we're involved with. So we've been very fortunate in that way. So we've got a lot of projects that are underway right now, carrying into 2022. We're also going to be taking on the largest project that we've taken on yet as a company, and that's the Sharapa project that was mentioned. So I was going to have Tony just give us a quick overview of that project. We're actually just starting to break ground on that this month.
Yep.
It consists of a multifunctional facility with 4 different structures. There's a high-rise component to a cast-in-place high-rise commercial structure that is about 230,000 square feet of office space, another 240 apartment units between 2 different buildings, and a 600-stall parking garage, all in a small footprint. And it's also redeveloping an area downtown and turning it into a work-life play balance. So you have the residential that works along with the commercial. There's another 150,000 square feet of unoccupied retail space that's coming into the project too. And so all that is put in place in about 2.5 years. So speed is another piece that needs to be designed into it to get your quality out of a project like that.
Yeah.
So
fantastic. That's exciting, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for being on the show. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Please remember to follow the podcast. That helps us, and that helps you stay up to date on new episodes that come out. Journey Group's mission is to positively impact lives by building community. So thank you again for taking the time to explore with us what it means to do more than construction. Until next time.